everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing from the DC original animated film, Superman, Shazam, The Return of Black Adam. Take a look at this movie DVD cover right here. Now, when I said in the beginning that it's from the DC original animated film, it should really be called DC Original Animated Shorts. And it actually is up at the top, DC Showcase Animated Original Short. And the reason why it's called that is because in addition to this Superman, Shazam, Return of Black Adam, you get 3 other short DC animated films. Jonah Hex, The Spectre, and Green Arrow. Now, in saying that, the Superman, Shazam, Black Adam film is also an animated short. But the difference between the Superman Shazam story and the other shorts is that the Superman Shazam movie is actually around a half-hour long, where the other animated shorts are roughly around 10 minutes. All of them combined together equal out to be around 63 minutes. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to give you a basic story for each one. I'm not going to go too in-depth, and then I'll give you guys the good, the bad, and whether or not you should pick it up. Start off with the Superman, Shazam, Return of Black Adam. Now this story is very basic. It's very much an origin story for Captain Marvel, or how DC has to call him Shazam. Although he's called Captain Marvel in the comics and in the movie and stuff, because of copyright disputes with Marvel Comics, who also has a Captain Marvel, they have to call him Shazam. Or at least I think that's the reason. But anyways, it's an origin story for Captain Marvel. It starts off with Black Adam returning from his exile and basically going around killing people, trying to find the next potential person to inherit his powers. And of course that is Billy Batson. Billy Batson is having a nice little breakfast with Clark Kent, which they never really explain why. But anyways, Black Adam shows up and attacks both of them. Superman intervenes, takes on Black Adam, and at the same time, Billy Batson is given the gift of Shazam, the power of the Greek god, speed, strength, wisdom, and all that fun stuff. So basically, it comes out to be Black Adam versus Captain Marvel with a little Superman sprinkled on top. There you go. So that's the basic story of the first one, Superman, Shazam, Return of Black Adam. The next story will be the Jonah Hex story. And the Jonah Hex story is basically a bunch of rich individuals who come into a western town are suddenly disappearing. Jonah Hex shows up looking for one of these rich individuals and finds himself in a situation where he needs to find out what's happening to these people. Are they dying? Are they disappearing? Exactly what's going on. That's basically the story itself. Then we have the Spectre story. And the Spectre story is that there is a famous man in Hollywood killed off. And the Spectre needs to go around and find and bring vengeance upon the individuals who knocked off this famous man in Hollywood. Lastly, there's the Green Arrow story. The Green Arrow story is Oliver Queen is on his way to meet Black Canary in the airport. At the same time, a young princess is being brought from the airport to, I don't know, never really tell. But she's under protection because people want to assassinate her. Green Arrow has intervened, save the girl, and protect her from all these people that are going out to try to kill her, including Merlin and Cat Vertigo. So those are the basic stories for each one. So what I'll do is a good, a bad, and whether or not you should get it for, well, all of them and the DVD as a whole. So let's do the Superman, Shazam, Return of Black Adam. Good. Well, I like the animation. The animation was very nice. I thought everyone looked good in this. Black Adam's face did kind of look a little weird at times. It looked like his jaw was a little predominant. But other than that, I thought the animation was pretty good. My girlfriend watched this with me, and she had gripes with Superman's face, but I didn't. So that's a good thing. The animation is great. And the action is very nice. You know, you got your standard superheroes going against supervillains and over-the-top, flying around, bashing around fight scenes. So that is a good thing about this, is that you get great action. The story is very basic, but it works out for what it is. I mean, it's a basic origin story for Captain Marvel. You're only going to get so much time with this story, so you do what you can with it, and it works out well. Bad. Well, the first bad is, even though I said the action was good, the action is kind of spread out and it feels dispersed throughout the movie. It doesn't feel as though there's as much action in this as maybe some of the other movies in here, some of the other shorts. I wish they did a little bit more action scenes rather than just talking. So that's the first bad. The second bad is Billy Batson's voice doesn't seem to really match up with Billy Batson's animation. He looks older than he sounds. Now, the voice sounds fine, it just doesn't feel like it fits with the actual character itself. So, it's a little weird in that. But those are really the only two bad that I can think of off the top of my head. On a whole, the Superman Shazam Return of Black Adam short was good. For what it was, in the time span that you have, it worked out pretty well. Next would be the Jonah Hex story. Now, before I actually jump into reviewing the Jonah Hex story, along with the Spectre and Green Arrow story, is that I would like to say that with each story, it delivers something different and something unique in comparison to all the other shorts. The Jonah Hex story delivered great story. It has a very nicely done story in it. I was entertained by it, I enjoyed the story, the concept was good, although it was only like 10 minutes. They did a lot in that 10 minutes and it was fun. I also like the voice acting a lot in this. Jonah sounds really good. And although I'm not a big Jonah Hex fan, I do know something about him. And the voice kind of meshed up well with how I think Jonah Hex would sound. The only complaint I have with the voice is that the way Jonah Hex looks, he looks a little younger. And other than, obviously the big scar, missing jaw section here, the voice doesn't match up fully with the face. But I do like the voice acting on a whole. And the action in this is good. It's probably the least amount of action in all the movies, but it's still fun. It's great to see Jonah basically throw his hat at someone pulling a gun, block the gun and beat the shit out of them, and then take on two assailants and beat the shit out of them. So the Jonah Hex story was good. There is really no bad to this other than the fact that there's some females portrayed in this who are prostitutes, but the thing is that they just don't fit in with the rest of them. They don't feel old westernish. I know they have the old western prostitute-like clothing on them, but I don't know, maybe it was the makeup on them. It just looks a little over the top, and they look kind of like Japanese anime. But that's really the only bad. I enjoyed the Jonah story. I enjoyed the Jonah story. I'm not going to rank the stories, so. Moving on, Spectre. Now, the Spectre story is probably out of the shorts the one I was looking forward to the most, because you really don't get many animation stuff with the Spectre out there. The only thing that comes to mind is probably the Brave and the Bold episode, but that's about it. So, the Spectre story, good things. Well, this was a very disturbing and very, very interesting story, in the fact that Spectre basically goes around and murders the people that murdered this guy. And he does it in a very gruesome, violent way. And that sounds bad, but it's actually pretty cool. DC is very reserved when it comes down to the characters. Don't kill, fight only in defense. Spectre's kind of like the exception to the rule. He's vengeance incarnated, at least the vengeance of God. And he needs to take it out on these bad guys. And it's really kind of cool and very valiant on how he does it. I also like the voice acting in this, but mostly with the Spectre in his alternate form and his detective form. Everyone else seemed a little meh. But the Spectre and how he speaks is pretty cool. Bad about this. Other than the Spectre, none of the characters really stood out to me. Some of them looked a little over the top, like the guy that got murdered, and his daughter was a little over the top. But just in general, the characters could have been done up a little bit better. On a whole, though, the Spectre story worked out for what it was. You could only do so much with the Spectre because he is just vengeance going around venting things up. But it was good for what it was. And that's what you kind of get with all these shorts. Finally, the Green Arrow story, which is the one I probably was least looking forward to, surprisingly. But anyways, the Green Arrow story, good. Animation was nice. I especially liked how they did Green Arrow's outfit, which is probably my favorite version with the hood and everything. I do like the animation in this, and the action was the best out of all the actions. Especially there's a fight scene where Green Arrow fights a thug on a conveyor belt. It looks very realistic and doesn't look over the top. It actually looks like a legitimate fight scene. Sure, there's a few parts where it kind of looks a little wire mesh fighting-ish, but for the most part, it was a good fight scene and I enjoyed it. It was a very nicely balanced and nicely paced story. Downside to this, At the very end, Count Vertigo comes in and he's not stopped by Green Arrow, and it kind of stops the momentum of Green Arrow's story. I really like to see if Count Vertigo versus Green Arrow, but, you know, shit happens, and what are you going to do? On the whole, though, the Green Arrow story impressed me, and I enjoyed it. Although it was weaker story-wise than the other ones, it more than made up for it in its action. Whether or not you should get this. Well, before I jump into the whether or not you should get it, I should point out one or two of the special features. And the special features are basically bonus episodes from Batman the Animated Series, featuring Jonah Hex, Batman Braver Than Bold, Chill at Night, featuring the Spectre, and Justice League Unlimited Ignition, featuring Green Arrow. Stories that are picked by Bruce Timm, and stories that he likes that include these characters. There's also the story in there with Captain Marvel, which is, I believe, the JLU one where he clashes with Superman. So you get a good amount of special features, especially if you don't have those episodes or you just want to see these characters in a different format. Get them here. Whether or not you should get this, well, I at first didn't even know this was going to get released. I went to Best Buy with my friend because he wanted to pick up a gift for his grandmother. And I saw this, so I'm like, $16, I don't know. But it actually turned out to be $12. Apparently it was on sale because it was new, and I am happy. This was a good compilation of short stories. Now, this may not be necessary for everyone because they are short stories, and going into these you must know that it's going to lack a lot of stuff. Maybe story, maybe characterization, maybe overall development of the characters. Whatever it is, it will lack a few things in a few areas. But, for what they are, they're good stories, they're fun. And if you have a little extra cash on your hand, I do recommend this. I enjoyed this, and that's the key word, that I enjoyed this. In comparison to all the other DC animated original films, this isn't up there. It's not high up there. I would still consider, like, Batman Under the Red Hood, or Justice League Crisis to Earth, or Wonder Woman, to be better stories than this one. This doesn't have an overall story arc. These are animated shorts, and they should be treated as such. But for what they are, they're fun. They're enjoyable. So if you have a little extra cash on your hand, pick it up. I got mine at Blockbuster for about $12. I don't know if that's the case at every Blockbuster. I recommend going to probably Target or Walmart first. Usually they're the ones with the lowest prices. So with that said, I like this, I enjoyed it, and I do recommend it. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.